This is the new TC Pride Podcast, Episode 58, Part 2 of on-location coverage of the 2017 Quorum Community Leadership Awards. TC Pride Podcast, we're on location at the 2017 Quorum Community Leadership Awards, and I'm here with one of our presenters tonight.
My name is Amy Ruzick, and I was the 2016 Business Leader of the Year. I've been involved with Quorum for probably about 10 years now. I was on the board for 3 years, and so tonight I got to present the 2017 Business Leader of the Year.
You had actually mentioned a couple of things in your presentation. You had actually talked about the relevance of organizations like Quorum and how they may be more relevant now than ever.
Well, I was on the board of Quorum for 3 years, and sometimes we'd have that discussion, like, are we still relevant? Is this event still relevant? And I mean, to me, it's like that question was so answered on the election day. We are more relevant than ever. We have to continue to stand out, to speak out, to do what we need to do.
Yeah, you had said something about like everybody in this room being a leader, and you had mentioned actually like a couple of key ways that people could be leaders in their own communities.
Well, yeah, for sure. Like I kept saying, show up to the marches, show up to these nonprofit that are doing these amazing events, because they're supporting the community and they're doing it nonprofit. They're doing all this hard work not to make money. It's amazing to me. So, and then where do we spend our money? Every day we spend money, and the decisions that we make on a daily basis, we can change things by spending money where it needs to be spent, and not supporting corporations that are harming the environment, or corporations who are supporting candidates who are not being inclusive or supporting equality. I don't think we understand exactly our economic power in our everyday transactions, even if they're like $10 or $20. But we can make a huge difference with that. So
it sounds like there's a lot of little ways to make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Every day we can make a huge difference by small acts every day.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and thanks for presenting tonight, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Kate. I work at Clare Housing.
I'm Megan Williams. I'm the Director of Nursing for Clare Housing.
I'm Angela North. I am the Community Care Homes Manager.
Chris Briggs, Community Outreach Coordinator, Clare Housing.
And Angela, so we were talking a little bit here before we started recording, and you folks kind of mentioned that you were already kind of working on stuff for the Pride Parade, for the big Pride Parade that's coming up, which you haven't really talked about too much. So maybe you can give us a little sneak peek into what you guys are working on for the parade.
Sure. So it's Clare Housing's 30th anniversary. We've been providing care for people living with HIV/AIDS for 30 years now. And our organization has grown, and we're serving a lot of people who were formerly homeless. So this year at the Pride Parade, we're going to make a float. And, well, I don't want to give it all away, but it'll be interactive, and it'll be around housing, and it'll be a giant puppet of sorts.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. And so, Chris, so for people that aren't familiar, we have actually run into Clare Housing a couple of times out in doing the podcast, but for people that aren't especially familiar with the organization, what are some things you'd like people to know about the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Angela said, we're all about providing affordable, permanent, supportive housing for people living with HIV, but we also see or envision a world free from AIDS built on equitable access to housing and healthcare. So that's really important to us. Because our folks are already positive, we talk a lot about how to keep folks undetectable, which helps us all in keeping that new infection rate down as much as possible, because the virus can't transmit when folks are undetectable. So we're working with our folks on a daily basis to ensure that they're taking their medications, and just being right with them side by side on their journey, and just in the long run, helping us all reduce HIV stigma around the state.
What are some ways that people can contribute to the efforts and everything that you just mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. Go to Facebook and like our page, number one. And the greatest contribution anyone can make to the organization is simply sharing something about HIV as it relates to housing and as it relates to healthcare. If you give someone a place to call home, they'll start thinking about those more important things in their everyday lives, such as taking care of their health. So simply liking our page, following all the activities that we're doing is a great contribution, or maybe stopping by and visiting us at one of the apartments. ClareHousing.org has those tour dates. We'd love to see as many folks come by as possible.
Journey Home Tour. Journey Home Tour is a really fun way to get involved and come see what we do. I'm a social worker in the apartment buildings, and it's really fun to see people out in the community come tour our facilities.
Oh, I just say it's a great organization, so I encourage people to apply for any jobs that are available. We usually have something open, so please come work for us.
As a housing first harm reduction organization too, we're a really great organization if you want to get involved in providing direct care and working with people who have struggled with homelessness and addiction. It's a really great opportunity for people to learn lots of great skills and be supportive to the community in which we live.
Hi, I'm Lindy Jensen-Gerard, and I am co-chair of the events committee. We put on our signature events as well as our monthly events in our committee. I joined Quorum the year before last. Actually, was recruited by Amy Ruzick. She was a realtor when I sold a house, and that's how I got involved. But I got involved mainly to be involved in the community and to use my organizational and finance skills maybe to good use in a volunteer basis.
And why would you tell people that the work that Quorum is doing, working towards inclusion and diversity and in the business community is so important?
I was actually speaking to a member earlier tonight about that, and the way I feel is some people get comfortable after you win a few victories, but we still have a long way to go to achieve equality and normalcy with the LGBT community and the community and our nation and community and society as a whole. So it is important to still continue this process until we get to the point where it's so not necessary because we're normal. Thank you.
TC Pride Podcast, we're on location at the 2017 Quorum Community Leadership Awards. We're actually standing outside now at Pinstripes in Edina. It's a beautiful location. It was a great event. I'm here with Rebecca.
Yeah, I'm Rebecca Wagner, and I am the Executive Director of Quorum. Quorum is the LGBT and Allied Chamber of Commerce for the Twin Cities, well, for all of Minnesota. We're the only one in the state of Minnesota, and we work to build, strengthen, and support the LGBT and allied business community. We want to make sure that people have the skills and the support that they need to grow their business and in any way that they need.
So when you're involved with the presentation tonight, you were talking about how it's been a long road. It's actually been a long road. It's been a lot of work. It's been a long road, and you've grown a lot. You've been recognized nationally. Actually, just recently, did you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you know what? So when I started at Quorum in 2015, I was the interim executive director for a year. It was a big leap for them to hire me. They saved pennies and tried to figure out. In fact, one of the board members during my interview just point blank asked me, why do we need an executive director? And I said, you don't, if you want to do exactly what you're doing right now. But by hiring me, we're gonna dream big, and we're gonna make those dreams happen. And at that point, it's all history, and I love it. And so Quorum got really small, and there were some dark days, and Quorum, I think, sort of lost focus and didn't exactly know where they were going. And by hiring me and making, more importantly than hiring me as a person, making that intention to hire someone to help lead the organization to the next level, I can say we're nothing but successful. Yeah, it's amazing.
Something you said a lot tonight. You said it takes a Quorum village. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, so one of the first things I did right after I got hired as an interim was I introduced the concept of a Quorum village. And I take that from this concept that people have talked about for centuries and generations, which is no one's alone, no one's an island. It takes all of us working together for a shared goal and a shared cause, and there's nothing, there's nothing quite like a Quorum village. It's how we describe our members. It's how we describe the people who invest in our community, either financially or just with their time and energy. And what do we want to do? One of the things I say is, come for the networking, but stay for the community, because we truly build a Quorum community, and we're all in this together.
I think one of the other presenters said that it does take a lot of people to accomplish everything that the group has accomplished, but that someone has to take the reins. And you actually told folks tonight about some of the things that made you want to be part of the leadership.
Yeah. So when I first, during my interview process, at the end of the process, they say, well, do you have any questions? And the only question I didn't ask about compensation. I didn't ask about hours. I didn't ask about anything else other than what was their investment that made them carry the water so long for them to be this engaged in Quorum and to ensure that Quorum thrived. And I made every single one of those board members go around. And I heard these incredible stories of investment and engagement and what their hopes and dreams for Quorum was. And I knew this is exactly what I wanted to do. And I want to help Quorum thrive because I'm one person. Quorum is a community, and it is always going to be a community, and it's always going to be bigger than one person. And together we thrive. Together we grow.
And you've got a lot of events coming up. I know there was you just had the first ever GLBT wedding fair just recently.
Yes, yeah, we had our first LGBT expo, wedding expo, and it was a success. We worked with a lot of vendors. We had more people than we anticipated being there, and one of the things that we have at Quorum is that we're still small enough to be able to just try stuff. Right? Like we don't have a map and a path to say these are the 7 things that we have to do. We're small enough so we can say if somebody comes up with an idea, we get to grow and pivot with it. And that is brilliant, right? That's a gift. And one of the other pieces is that we have, I'm building on leaders of the past. People who have built this strong foundation, have built this community engagement, and now we get to thrive. We get to grow in some ways that are frankly exciting and kind of scary and big and huge, and and we've just begun.
And you have a few more events coming up. A few. You've got a few events coming up here during Pride season. Would you like to mention a couple of those quick?
So our next one is the Ungala, which is our Pride kickoff, and it's we introduced it last year for the first time. I was told you need to have another fundraiser, and I was like, great. And they said it can't be a gala, and I was like, okay. Well, I was very tired, and I said, okay, it's an Ungala, and so right, and so but this year it's going to be at Lush. It's amazing, June 6th, and we're going to have a fashion show from some of our Quorum members, and it's also where we actually get presented with our 2017 Rising Star Chamber of the Year award, and it's fun. It's super affordable. It's $20, and you come and we give you food, and you get to just hang out with all the cool kids.
And if you haven't been to Lush, that's a good enough reason to go, just because.
Exactly. Then 3 days later, we have our second annual resume review with Deloitte. It's totally free. And go to our website, twincitiesquorum.com, and you can get all the details to register. You don't have to be LGBT or an ally. We kind of hope you are. But basically, what it is all about finding ways for people to thrive. And this is a great free way to do that. Whether you're changing careers, whether you're mid-career and you just want to get your resume reviewed, or whether you're just starting out and you're like, oh God, I don't know what to do. And practitioners will sit with you for 3 hours if that's what it takes.
Well, great. Well, thank you very much. And to find out about the other events that you have coming up, where can people go?
TwinCitiesQuorum.com.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, and congratulations on a great event.
Thank you so much.
The TC Pride Podcast is a production of Podletter Media and Twin Cities Pride. Subscribe now on iTunes, on Android, or on YouTube at tcpridepodcast.org.